money and give you better television. We are Dish TV.
800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328. That's 800-293-0328.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
Now, more of Ring Talk with Pedro Fernandez.
23 and a half minutes past the hour. This is the Saturday edition of Ring Talk Live Worldwide. Don't forget the Sunday edition, Sunday 11 a.m. Pacific, and that's 2 p.m. Eastern Time on many of these same channels, straight up live on Sports Byline, iHeartRadio, Sirius XM, Satellite Radio, and of course, Twitch.tv, the Sports Byline USA channel, as I am broadcasting as I speak. Straight up, Boots Ennis, 34 and zip, 30 KOs. Fighter out of Philadelphia. When I think of Philadelphia fighters, I think of Boots Ennis. I sort of need Viagra to get up to watch Boots Ennis. Why is that the case?
Because he doesn't fight. He hasn't fought anybody worth anything. He hasn't fought the top guys yet. He's fighting guys that he's supposed to beat. And then he had 2 fights with a guy named Karen. A guy named Karen, and he didn't look very impressive over that guy. And we don't know much about him. By the way, I just found out that Karen has a fight today too, which is crazy. He's fighting nobody as well, but he's actually been active, But he's fighting this guy, Lima Beans or Lima something, and from Portugal. He seemed like he's going to be gamed, but to me, it just looks like another total mismatch. It's a guy that couldn't make weight at 147, pretty much starving himself. Now he's moving up to 154, taking yet another so-called tune-up. And, there's guys there at 154. There's a lot of killers there at 154, in my opinion, and he's not fighting any of them. So it's hard to get up to see this guy fight. I do think he passes the eye test, right? What I mean by that, he looks good in the ring against certain competition. I can see the skill set there. But when you go up in levels in competition, that's where whether the guy is really good or not good, and he's not giving that to him.
And you know what? It takes the intestinal fortitude. It takes some stones. I'm not talking about stones the size of a hamster in order to step across that line, because it's the same thing in a fight when you're losing. When you're losing a fight, you've got to step across that line to gamble. Mm-hmm. In other words, you've got to be willing to do that. And of course, I think Canelo Alvarez, of course, he voluntarily lost to Terrence Crawford. I mean, Crawford was beating him, but the bottom line is he never did anything out of desperation at all.
Absolutely, and that's something that we've seen before when it comes to Canelo and his corner. and his corner gets a lot of praise and then doesn't get enough criticism for, those Flintstone vitamins.
I'm glad you brought up the Flintstone vitamins. We're talking about performance-enhancing drugs. I mean, these people, like, how many fighters have tested positive? 8?
7 or 8 guys.
And wait. And the last one, time out, let me interrupt you real quick. The last one, the WBC gave him a pass. Did you see that?
That's insane. They said he took it by mistake. How can you prove that he took it by mistake? Maybe if it was a different fighter in a different camp with a different trainer, but the guys had 7 or 8 guys in there.
No, I get that, but the last guy, come on, man. I mean,
that's insane.
I don't get. He was Mexican, and I mean, come on,
yes.
this spit with an H is not coincidental.
No, and it's not cool and it's not fair. These guys are punching each other in the face and the head, taking a lot of punishment. People can die in the ring, and guys going in there and juicing and taking performance enhancement drugs. It's not cool. And to give guys passes and no investigation into it too. Like, how is there not an investigation into any of those fighters in that camp? It's mind-boggling. We're not talking baseball and football here, and football's another violent sport. We're talking about a combat sport where guys are juicing. That's not cool, man.
Well, I mean, you don't think you don't think a lot of those guys aren't juicing in the UFC? Holy cow.
Well, that's another thing, and we spoke about this plenty of times, and I think you break it down better than anybody that I've ever heard, about, guys taking hits to the head on the mat.
On the mat, and once they're concussed, they allow it to continue. That's my point.
Yes.
When you do double concussions and triple concussions on top of each other, on top of the initial concussion, that's how people get severe brain damage, aka CTE.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. And something's got to be done. I don't know with the rules, but they got to start off.
No, don't take this the wrong way, white America. But this is Dana White privilege. And what I mean by that is, if Dana White wasn't blowing Donald Trump all the time, when Donald Trump wasn't blowing Dana White, I think this stuff would be illegal. I just think it would. I mean, I mean, if they're willing to modify professional football, you know what I'm saying? They've got to be willing to modify the UFC and MMA. You can't hit guys when they're down. And once they're concussed, the referee needs to wave it off just like they do in a boxing match.
Yes, I agree 1,000%.
No, but they want the carnage. I mean, they want that limp body stuff.
They want Rome Empire, gladiator stuff. That's what they want. They want thumbs up, thumbs down, whether they kill them or not. That's what they want.
You know what's funny is that most of these bloodthirsty fans couldn't lick a stamp if you wet their tongue.
I didn't say it. You did.
I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, have you ever been to a UFC fight?
I agree 1,000%.
I mean, these people are yelling for blood, and knockouts and blood. I mean, yikes, man. I mean, listen. At first, I thought the UFC was going to be on some type of maybe an alternative to boxing. Boxing would be A and UFC would be B. I never thought we'd come to a world where the UFC is A and now boxing is B. You think I'm right saying that?
I think lately, in the last couple of years, it has been. They're selling out everywhere they go. They are putting their top guys versus their top guys, right? You barely see mismatches. Like in boxing. Boxing, we're not getting the fights we want.
No, I get that, but here's what's up. The thing with that is, you can't take death fights after death fights and that stuff, and Dana puts you in death fight after death fight if Dana don't like you, if you ain't got the right complexion or the connection, you know what I'm saying, and Dana just puts you to war each time, this is how they win out every time, bro. Nobody can last long enough to make any real money.
No, and they're not making real money even if they're the supposed stars. The percentages that they're getting compared to the ticket sales is ridiculous. It's not even it's unfair. Let's put it that way. It's not even close to being fair.
Okay, hold on. UFC last week at T-Mobile Arena, October 4th, did 19,000 people. September 28th in Australia did 12,000 people. San Antonio, Texas, September 13th, 2025, 18,000 people. September 6th, Accor Arena in Paris, France, 15,000 people. April 16th, United Center, Chicago, Illinois, 20,000 people. I don't like the dude, but he must be doing something right if he's packing in places like this.
Well, but we just said it earlier. People want to see blood and guts. They want to see people get beat to death. I mean, and I don't like to say beat to death sounds very bad, but that's the reality of it is.
Exactly, because I'm telling you, listen, you don't see these guys, these UFC fighters, post-fight fighters, with the exception maybe of Daniel Cormier, maybe you see him on television. With the exception of him, you don't see these guys. You don't see Chuck Liddell. Chuck Liddell sounds like he's got a mouthful of gum. Okay, and I mean, he's just bad. I mean, a lot of these guys, man. I mean, in Rampage Jackson, he's like showing the signs. Of course, his son. What do you think of it? His son pleaded not guilty this week to that crazy wrestling attack.
Jackson's son?
Yeah. What's your
I mean, he has no choice to plead not guilty, but he's 1,000% guilty. And what's crazy is that his father helped line him up to get put away, and he's gonna do time.
Well, his father said he deserves time.
Yeah, so. And what's funny is that, they're going to go back to the recordings that his father's made. I don't know if you've seen it or heard it, where he's talking about his two sons that, he's got 4 sons, I think, or 4 kids, 2 of them with an Asian lady and then 2 of them in America. And that he saved up money for the 2 Asian kids to go to college, and the other 2 kids he saved up for to bail them out. And then he says, don't mess with you. Got it. No lie. I'm proud, and I was shocked to see that. And I was just like, wow, like he saved money for the college for the 2 kids, the Asian kids, and then the 2 kids he has here in America. He said, yeah, I got money put away to bail them out because something. He explained it, and he said, don't mess with his son Roger. I guess that's his name, Roger. He said, please don't mess with him because he's going to do something or whatever. So they're definitely going to use that in court.
Okay.
So
back to Dana. Holy cow, he's going to be in Brazil tonight. He's going to be in Canada next week. He's in United Arab Emirates October 25th. I mean, yikes, man. UFC Apex, he's back there for that little TV show November 1st, November 8th. Then he's back at the Garden November 15th. I mean, good Lord, man. As much as I don't want the guy to succeed, here I am having to admit it.
People want to see it, and people don't want to see, the boxing. That's why a lot of the boxers, people that actually box, not trade with you, are not getting the recognition I feel they deserve because it's a lost art. People don't appreciate the art of boxing anymore, and then the prices are too much. Listen, I wanted to bring this up.
Wait, time out. The UFC tickets are through the roof, and yet people are paying for them.
People are paying for
big money for the UFC tickets. Is that another example of white privilege?
Uh,
Oh, Dana White privilege. You know, every time I put Tommy D on the spot here, when he goes, I'm going to say, okay, Tommy D, I get it.
This is what happens on Saturday shows, I guess.
No, this is what happens on Sunday shows usually.
Yeah, that is true.
Saturday shows are really smooth. See, I've got boxing's PhD on Saturday, so I just let him just basically, roll and do his thing. I have to challenge you toe to toe, go back and forth. I take a few on the chin. Good thing I got a good chin with you.
Yeah, but I got a good chin as well. You got me earlier in the program, so
okay. So Asuma Lima is a 23-1 underdog.
What is it? The quote that you say? He's got 2 chances, slim and none.
And Slim's out of the country.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. In Philadelphia too, his hometown. I would like to see him. At least put up. Some type of performance where you say, "Oh, this guy is actually something" or whatever. But I don't think we'll.
Do you know what would be a better fight for Jaron Ennis than this guy? Eddie Hearn.
Eddie.
I mean, come on. That's the guy I really want to see get smacked, don't you?
Yeah.
Wait, little delayed response there. Is there a delayed response on the Skype, or is Tommy D on heroin today? What's up?
No, because Eddie Hearn is a character, and I like Eddie Hearn at times, and then there's times I don't like Eddie Hearn.
Wouldn't you like to see him get slapped like Dana White's TV show?
I would.
Oh, I would
like.
Oh.
I would. I think him and Dana White are going back and forth too.
And let's talk about that slap thing or that slap show on TV. That's the most dangerous spit. When I say spit on a show, I mean spit with an H. But that's the most of all the stuff that I've seen. That's the most dangerous because that's an instant concussion.
Yeah, that's another program. And is that Dana White's?
That's
show?
Dana White.
Yeah, that's brutal. That's
I mean,
brutal.
and hey, here's what's up. You know who wins? The guy that does the slapping first.
Most of the time, yeah.
Coincidence?